All right.
Hey guys, it's Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today I am here with my brother,
Hello.
Brian. Brian, where are you hailing from today?
Uh, I'm currently in front of my house that's located in Vallejo, California.
Well, don't give him your whole address.
Oh, of course. I'm just in Vallejo.
So, today, I figured, I'd have my brother on. He actually just recently had his birthday on Sunday. My birthday's tomorrow, so we're talking June babies. So, we'll talk a little bit about what we have cooked up for June. Also, maybe talking about our favorite birthday memory since we are in the birthday month. And then, yeah, we'll just kind of see what pops up from there. Oh, Butterfly Love Child is here. She said, hey, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you for asking.
All right. So going into June, actually, let's start off with birthdays. So maybe we'll start off with the present birthday. What did you do for your birthday? Are there any gifts that really stood out for you?
Um, so what I did for my birthday was the majority of the day I slept, which was amazing. um, but me and my wife did end up seeing The Little Mermaid, um, just to do stuff, and ended up doing a homemade Filipino food dish at home. Um,
Nice.
and the gift that she actually did give was like I guess a set of like pouring like a classy alcohol stuff, like it could be like whiskey or wines and such.
Bougie.
And what else? So it was a pretty relaxing birthday for me. So it was. Um, the good thing is, of course, as all of us get older, rest to me is like the most important because me and my bed and pillow were like best friends.
Do you have a name for your pillow?
It's Pikachu.
Pikachu. Dude, haven't heard Pikachu in a while. Oh, we have some comments that are coming in. Kayla says, hi, Tara and Brian. Happy birthday to you both. Thank you. Thank you. Butterfly Love Child says she is good. She is hiding inside from the sun. Liesel is here. Hey. She says, happy birthday, Brian. Many happy returns, bruv.
Thank you. Thank
And she says, I love Filipino food.
you. Oh, oh yeah. Thank
Actually,
you.
speaking of Filipino food, what is your favorite dish, dude?
Uh, there's plenty. Of course, I guess when it comes to the Filipino dishes, oh, that's a tough one because I do admit, as every culture has different like food to provide and whatnot. Um, it, with the Filipino dish part, that it would be tough, but one of them, I guess there's a couple of them depending on the time of year and the season. Um, I guess like when it's like spring and summer. Um, my go-to is this dish called menudo, and of course, the majority of people, when we hear the word menudo, we think of the Hispanic soup. But I guess the way they do it is it's not a soup, and it's very reddish with a lot of like tomato sauce involved in it. And it's very meaty. You can make it with like pork and whatnot. Um, That's one of my favorite. But of course, when it's during getting towards like the fall and winter, I would probably say that my other go-to would be sinigang, which is actually a soup. Um, and it's a very, I admit, it's a very sour soup with involving either it could be like fish or meat. And it does involve like vegetables as well. So it's a interesting kind of healthy soup. So those are my two go-to. But of course, when I just want to snack on stuff, I admit I'm guilty of eating wheat thins.
Wheat thins. I'll take frosted mini wheats.
And of course, there are times I'll just start eating Cheerios out of nowhere, regardless of the time of day.
Oh, Night Daughter popped in. She said, "Have a blessed day, Tara and Brian." Oh, and Liesel says mung beans and fish cooked by her Filipino stepmom. So she
Ooh,
loves that.
that does sound delicious.
Let's see. I would say for me, um, I like I like to the two that I like to make that I really like a lot is sotohon bola bola, which is to me like the Filipino spaghetti and meatballs, but it's kind of not. It's I guess sort of like that, but it's similar. And the other one is lumpia cebuano, which actually has the rice noodles in the soto or in the lumpia, which I like. So yeah, I would say those are
Ooh,
my two faves.
that does sound delicious. I must admit that. Yeah, it's
Well,
oh,
what were you saying?
oh yeah, it's I admit there's us actually this Korean place down the street from where I live. Um, it's a small little place. It's like a hole in the wall, I guess you could say.
Mm.
Um, and it's interesting. They have, and it's not when, of course, a lot of people when we think of Korean, we think of Korean barbecue and whatnot. But this place is kind of like a homemade, almost, kind of
Oh,
with
okay.
American twist to it. Um, where what they do is, if let's say you wanted their like the fries, what they do with their fries is they'll get the bulgogi meat, put it on top, and
Mm.
mix it with like sour cream and a couple other things, and it's actually
That sounds so good.
yes, it's that one is popular. Another one is actually their Korean barbecue chicken, which is quite interesting with their sauce that they actually use, because it's not spicy. It's mild spice with the sweet kick to it, which is
Mm.
something like, oh, it's amazing. And of course, their other one is bibimbap, which is like vegetables, egg, and all this other jazz, and that's pretty good. So that's kind of like my other go-to when all else fails.
When there are no other options. Oh, let's see. We have a comment. Oh, Joss. Joss is here. Hey, hey. She said, "Love that you guys are talking about food. Just picked up some Jollibee for lunch."
Ooh,
Let's
nice.
see. Night Daughter Oracle said she can't stay. Have a blessed day. Have a great day. Um, and Lisa said, "Brian, you have a lovely, infectious laugh, my brother."
Oh, thank you, much appreciated.
Let's see. Joss said yesterday she had some pancit and xiao pao.
Oh wow.
And oh, and then Lisa is thanking you for the recipe tips.
Oh, no problem. It's always a pleasure to help others.
Well, let's see. Going back onto birthdays, which birthdays are intertwined with food. So, of course, we're going to be talking about food. Um, Tomorrow for my birthday, we're going to be going to the petrified forest. So, taking a little drive out there, do a little hike ski. I'm going to charge the camera tonight, take some pictures, and yeah, just have a little bit of fun. We'll see what we have for dinner and stuff like that. I'll update you guys, I guess, later what the foodie options will be. Um, but yeah, I was thinking of something. My brain went blank. That's probably, is that the signs of age, or is that because I took an edible? No, it's too soon.
Oh,
Too soon.
oh my. Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, you guys, my little brother is actually 6 years younger than me, and I've kind of put it out there before. My brother and I, of course, we're in the 6th month of the year, but we're 6 days apart. We're 6 years apart, and we're actually 6 minutes apart. Yeah, I was born. We're actually both born at dinner time, which is probably why we love food so much. But I was born at 5:01 p.m. and he was born at 5:07 p.m. Um, so yeah, kind of interesting. And oh, for my brother's birthday, I did his Mayan chart, and actually, dude, I'll have to like call you maybe later today
No
and
worries.
talk about your chart because I did it up. And just the one thing that stood out, first of all, I always look at it's kind of like your astrological sign, but it's the Mayan astrological sign. So you're six Lamont. I thought it was funny because you're a number six, and literally everything about us is separated by sixes, which I thought was neat. And when I think about it, my astrological number is 5, so you come after me, and it's like that's interesting. Just pointing that out. I thought it was cool.
Nice. Oh, get to learn
Oh,
something new every day.
we have Ferdinand is in here, and he said food is good. And Lisa said, "There's nothing apart from you two, my darlings." So,
Uh,
dude, speaking again of birthdays, what is your favorite birthday memory? Going back through all 36 years of birthdays that you've ever had, although I doubt you can remember your first birthday, but of all the birthdays, which one would you say really stood out to you? It could be your favorite, it could be the most hilarious, the weirdest. Like, which one would you say?
uh, um, wow, that's a good one. Um,
Like I said, it's a lot of birthdays to sift through. I know.
I would probably. It's something I could probably laugh at now, and compared to then, I would probably say my 21st birthday.
Okay.
Um, I would be because, of course, a lot of people when they're 21, they want to be like, oh, alcohol, fun, bars, all that jazz. Um, so of course, I was part of that, that group that was like, hey, I'm 21, let's go have fun. Um, so of course, me and my buddies ended up going to downtown San Diego at the time, and the downfalls, unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the bar that we attended, but um, I guess after kicking a few beers back, feeling more relaxed and whatnot. I guess one of my buddies, decided to tell the bartender like, "Hey, it's my buddy's 21st birthday. I want to do something for him. I just can't figure it out."
Yeah.
So the bartender has this idea was, "Okay, is your friend okay with tequila shots and everything?" He's like, "Yeah." So he decided to lay out um, 21 tequila shots in front of me. So,
Uh,
what
okay. Before you continue, how much tequila had you had in your life before the 21 shots were laid out before you?
prior to that, I barely touched tequila. Where The most I could take was probably like five, and I'm okay.
Wow.
So, of course, this bartender, he made a deal with me. It was like, hey, if you could finish all these 21 shots, and he did give me a good time limit. He's like, I'll give you just an hour just to finish this. He's like, then I will, I will charge your buddy half off this. I was like, sounds like a fair deal. So, of course, being not smart at the time, the best way to put it, I was like, okay, being a typical knucklehead, I was like, let's do it. So it
Okay.
took me about, I would say, 35 minutes or so to finish all 21 shots. And of course, once I hit number, I think 10, I don't remember anything. I don't even know how I finished it.
Wow.
So my buddy has the the video of me just talking more than I would normally talk and creating like funny scenarios out of nowhere.
So your memory isn't there, but at least it's on video.
Yeah, that was that was kind of fun to me.
Wow. Well, I hmm.
So the recovery for me after that night, it took me about at least a minimal 2 days to recover instead of the average one day.
Dude. Dude, that's crazy.
Oh yeah, you have an interesting brother.
Oh, our friend John is here. He says hello. Dana's here. Hello. Um, yeah. Let's see. If I was remembering my 21st birthday, I just remember when I came home and I was coming back from going out with one of my friends and my boyfriend at the time. And Mama had 21 shots of Goldschlager
Oh,
laid out on the the dining table and in her apartment, and she had a friend over or something, and I remember like walking in the door. And by the way, like before my 21st birthday, I don't know, yeah, I was kind of a big nerd, so I never really drank alcohol, so I never had any liquor or anything, but I just remember like looking at all those 21 shots, and something in my head was like, that's probably not going to be in your best interest at this time. So I was like, no, that's okay, Mama. And she's like, are you sure? She says, it's got gold in it. I was like, yeah, that's okay. So she's like, okay, well, I guess my friend and I will have it. So between my mom and her friend, they like took my 21 shots for me. But I just remember there was like let's see, do I do this with my mom? Will this be a good thing for me? Yeah. Actually, I've had maybe one shot of Goldschlager since then. It's okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, Lisa said, dude, my bro John's birthday, we both did 13 tequila slammers. We were messy.
oh, yikes.
Wow.
Yeah, I think like with me, what helped me prior to that 21st birthday was, of course, between 18 leading up to 21. Um, and I think I did mention this in the past where I would, kind of lie to, our mom saying, hey, I'm going to spend the night at a friend's house, which was partially true, but wasn't the whole truth. So, me and my buddies, every like payday at the time, um, oh, actually, no, sorry, let me correct myself. I that was actually when I was 17, but of course, when I was 18 and finally did move out, um, almost every weekend, if not every weekend, every other weekend, me and my buddies crossed the border and start drinking because of course, that, and honestly, I think at the age of 18 was the first time I actually tried beer, but in a different country. So, of course, we all know that, depending on the country themselves, different laws and everything. So, of course, my buddies were like, hey, let's go try alcohol down there. I was like, sure, why not? So, of course, being on the other side of the border and drinking and starting earlier than I'm supposed to. It was a fun experience because, of course, you're going out with friends, and then the scary part a little bit was bumping into like you know old classmates, saying, "Hey, what are you guys doing here?" And then just responding the same reason. So I was like, fair enough. So, but I do admit, crossing back from the border from Mexico into the U.S. Um, at first it was a little nerve wracking to the extent of, because of course, you know um, here in the U.S., the legal age of alcohol is 21, and I was under 21 entering the state of California. So the only thing I could think is, how am I going to tell my parents this if I get locked up due to the alcohol in my body? So, of course, the immigration officers, they have to do their part in their job to say, hey, what's your reason for being in Mexico and whatnot? And I think the one time, I think the alcohol was still kind of running through my system.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked at him. I'm like, do I need to say more?
No, you should have been like, well, Ossifer, I'm here for the cultural experience.
That's true. I should have said that.
Oh, Lisa says, Brian, love you, bro. You're so like Tara. In the UK, drinking is so easy. I bought my first drink in a bar or a pub when I was 15.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Get to learn.
Well, it's like in a lot of other countries, drinking isn't a big, like, it isn't emphasized like it is here in the States. Like when I've been out of the country before, and
Right.
it's like it's a social thing. Like it's just something that you have with dinner. And so it's not like something that's kept from us, like, oh, it's this thing you can't have until you're 21 years of age. So it becomes this kind of taboo thing. We even had prohibition here, so it's this almost like, ooh, this secret thing that only like adults can have. And so when it happens, people go crazy with it. It's like, oh my god, we can have all this booze. Where
Right.
when people are just kind of brought up with it, it's like a, I'm not saying like for everybody on the planet, but like it becomes kind of like, I don't have to have an entire lifetime's worth of consumption in this one sitting. I could just like have it with dinner. I could have it, and just sipping it with friends. So I think it's a little bit different, outside the country, in certain countries, I think.
Right. Right. I remember being in the Philippines in the past, um, which was an interesting experience to me because what threw me off, of course, I thought Mexico was going to be the only thing being outside of the U.S. for me um, to visit. But when I did visit the Philippines, it was quite interesting due to the fact of course, you could buy, alcohol at any given time, despite of what
Mm,
time of day. So, of course, with it being so hot over there, due to the tropical weather and everything,
mm,
um, it was quite of course, you're a, with the alcohol into your body. Of course, you're able to get drunk a little bit quicker in the heat. So,
mm,
what made me laugh was I would see, the older gentlemen that would be like, that would kind of be old enough to be like our older uncles or like our granddads or dads, in that kind of age group.
mm.
Um, it was like right when alcohol's in their system, they'll be sitting outside of their house, like acting like they're kids again, which was quite funny. um,
Lisa said that well, weed is demonized over there. She lives out in England,
oh,
and
gotcha.
she was saying, yeah, Tara, that's Europe. Basically it just being like a social thing. Since people are young, with the alcohol. And she said her dad lived in Davao. Um, yeah, just yeah, especially like when I was in Italy, just and I was near Tuscany, so everybody's drinking wine, and I'd see like basically high school age kids having wine with their parents, and they're not like chugging glasses of wine. They're not like got bottles and stuff. It's just like having a little glass with their pizza, and or whatever it is they're having. Yeah, it's just different. Um, but what would you say? Hmm Energetically speaking, let's get into that low. Don't mind that's my shed back there. um Energetically speaking, how do you feel alcohol affects your energy, not your physical well-being, but like your energy?
it, I do feel like in a way where um, it, well, without it, I know I'm still like like that kind of jokingly person at work or
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But I think energy wise, it kind of makes me more like, because I even now, like, I'll have like one or two drinks, but it kind of
Mm-hmm.
relaxes me, kind of like to kind of get my mind off of like work, kind of get the stress out of me a little bit. Um, and also, it kind of it I feel like it kind of pushes me to kind of like make fun of like nature a little bit more too. Because
So you feel
what
more like your walls have come down then?
correct? Because I admit yeah, because without it, like, yeah, my walls do tend to stay up the majority of the time.
But you could bring down your walls without it, right?
Correct, you are right. Like, it's not that I admit like I need it or anything. Um, I guess I became so adjusted keeping the walls up, where like I'll still have my once in a blue moon fun, but it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like I'll joke with people, but at the same time, it's very hard for me to trust people.
Mm. Well, since Liesel had brought up weed, that was something actually. Okay, I have kind of funny story, little journey there. Um, I I haven't really been like smoking weed for a long time. It's only been like a year, and just kind of trying to understand the herb itself because I'm really into plants and I'm really trying to understand everything. And weed is a plant; it is an herb, and so I want to understand it and understand how it helps people and how it could help me and things like that. But back when I was in college, of course, people smoke. I couldn't really do that because I was an NC2A athlete and they do drug testing, so I couldn't really dabble in that. But when I was in grad school and I wasn't on the track team anymore, I was dating this surfer guy, and he and his roommate were smoking a bong, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to hit this?" And I was like, "Sure." I didn't know at the time, like, I see this apparatus that kind of looks like a vase. I don't know how to use it. So he's like, okay, this is, he's trying to show me this is how you do it. So you light it here and then you inhale. And I was like, okay. So I lit it and I inhaled like this, and all the bong water came out all over me. And so, needless to say, I did not smoke it that day. It smelled kind of gross. They were laughing hysterically. They're like, we've never seen a bong accident quite like that. They're like, how do you not know how to smoke weed? I was like, I don't know. Yeah. So
It's okay.
there's that.
I remember my first encounter was I've never smoked it at all, but it was an edible experience where I went. Me and a couple friends were at another guy friend's house, and I guess his mom earlier brought over like some homemade cookies,
Uh-huh.
but the catch to that was he made some special cookies as well. Of course, that's made a little different with the weed that's infused in it and whatnot.
Hmm.
Um, but what I didn't know was um, until later he had both plates side by side, you know. And I told my buddy, "Hey, can I just grab a couple snacks?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I think he told me just be careful of a certain plate because those are special. Take take the one that his mom made. I was like, okay, but my mistake was I was not paying attention to where he pointed and I didn't fully hear how he described the special plate, so I could know the difference. So I ended up eating one at the time. So when I came back to sit down, I was just like, yeah, man. I was like, this is a good cookie. This is pretty delicious. He was like, wait, did you take the one that my mom made? And I pointed at the plate. I was just like, oh, that's the one, right? He was like, no. He was like, that's the one I made. I was like, oh, man. So, of course, the first couple of minutes I freaked out because I didn't know how I was going to react. So he was just like, dude, here, calm down, just stay relaxed. He was like, you'll know when you're high. I was like, how would I know? He's like, you'll feel it. I was like, oh, okay. So
How
after
many cookies did you have?
oh, thank goodness it was only one. So,
Oh,
because like, it was just a tiny snack. I just needed something in my body.
I'm like
Um,
imagining you going like, "Wow, these are really good cookies."
I actually made that mistake. I think recently. So, um, that first experience, thank goodness my buddy he stood by me to make sure I was okay. And when I told him I was high, and it started kicking in, um, he did give me some milk to kind of chill out, but he did sure enough give me a lot of food, and I was happy.
You got the munchies.
Oh yeah, and this actually most recent time was we went to I went to one of my coworkers' place, and he did have I guess he bought some from a dispensary or something,
Hmm.
and he's just like, "Hey, you want to try one?" I was like, "Sure, give me two," because I thought I would be a okay. So like when it really kicked in, oh yeah, I, all I could do was just sit in my car parked, and I thought I was. And I was wondering why time was going so slow.
Did you have any revelations?
I wouldn't say revelation, but it was kind of like questioning everything.
Yeah, I
What?
noticed that when uh I had some homemade special cookies from one of our neighbors, and I was like sitting here on the porch, and I'm just looking out on the sky, and I remember that at a certain point I was like, how long have I been sitting here staring at the sky listening to the earth breathe? It felt like I was there for 20 minutes, just like, wow, like I could hear the earth breathe, like I hear the birds talking to each other, I know what they're saying. But yeah, it's like you're peering into 4D, and it's just you're so awestruck. I'm just like,
That is true. But the one thing I do admit about taking edibles is that it did help with like kind of knock out some of my lower back pain. So I was
oh
just like,
yeah, yeah,
oh,
it's really good for that.
that's true, and I didn't realize how, how effective it would be in that way. So I was like, So now I'm kind of like curious about, just buying, like just eating a decent amount, where
Hmm.
just to knock out like, my lower back pains and, you know, pa- body pains in general. So,
Well, you could
um,
try CBD too. Like if you didn't want to get the actual high effects and you just wanted the pain management, CBD is really good.
oh, okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but I mean both have healing energy to it, but some people it's like, I can't be high today. I gotta, do something. So they'll take, CBD, they'll have like a CBD edible, they have capsules and things like that. I know a lot of, people that have like inflammation, things like that, they'll take CBD. So yeah, I mean, it's got benefits. I mean, sure, it'll take us to some wacky places if we wanted to, but also literally it helps heal the physical body too.
Ah, yeah, that I do believe now. So, of course,
John says, "Oh, he'd done that before when I was talking about the bong." He says, "But why would you do that?" I'm kidding, of course.
oh yeah, I've seen years ago a couple of my coworkers bring out the bong in their car to get high too. I'm just like, oh, so they did offer at the time, and at the time I was like, nah, I'm all right. But oh yeah, so what happened? I think
There we go.
all right. So last
Sorry,
night,
moving locations. I don't want you guys to hear all the wind.
uh, so yeah, last night, me and
Ooh.
Rhoda, which is my wife, we ended up going to Santa Cruz last night.
Oh yeah, how was that?
It was quite interesting. It was pretty cool because it's Santa Cruz is like if to everybody watching or listening, if you ever been to San Diego, it's like a mixture of it's like a little bit of like all the beaches there, like Ocean Beach, a little bit of Mission Beach, and like Pacific Beach, like all in one. But that that's just for like mainly one area. But they have this pier, which is pretty cool, where they have like little knickknacks like shirts and like stickers of like Santa Cruz. Um, and they do have like on that pier like a lot of food too. So um, you can actually, apparently I didn't know you could drive onto the pier and park, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, which was it looked cool, but I was kind of scared because I'm like, man, if this thing collapses, I don't want my car to go underwater. I was like, I'm paying too much for this freaking car. But we ended up going to this Islander thing. Um, and I guess how this restaurant, when they say Islander, they're not just focused on like islands such as like when we think of it like Hawaii or Polynesian, not just those islands, but they extend it out to like like Hawaii, Polynesia, Jamaica, every possible like islander lifestyle. They had those kind of foods there, which was pretty cool. I ended up getting this burger or this cheeseburger that actually had the yolk egg on it. Like that was like scrambled in it, which was quite interesting but delicious for some odd reason. So that was amazing. And I guess I drank one of their this kind of like Hawaiian beer, which their the alcohol volume I think in that was I think a 5.3. It was 5 point something. It
Hmm.
was, it was a little strong.
Yeah, that's a
So
bit strong.
yeah, so I admit I am guilty of liking strong beer. Uh, so when I got the beer, Rhoda ended up, buying a Modelo, something lighter. So when I got the beer, I informed my wife, "Hey, if you want to try this, okay, but to give you a heads up, it's gonna have a bitter, strong taste after." And she didn't fully believe me until she took a sip. She's like, what the heck is this? I was like, hey, one beer for the night, I'm good. So it was pretty awesome because where we were sitting was next to the window and it was, on the pier. So we're overlooking the whole water, which was pretty cool. Um,
Nice.
and what kind of threw me off a little bit was, I guess, inside the restaurant, you got the typical bar. You could sit at the bar and they do have little tables around it too. But apparently, that was the only section of the restaurant that actually slowly goes in a circle.
Hmm.
And it goes like probably like 1 or 2 miles an hour, which isn't too fast. So it's very slow. But of course, people are just sitting there relaxing and they're like, every so often you'll see the thing kind of go like in one direction in a circle. And I pointed out to Rhoda, um, I was just like, yeah, I was like, man, imagine being drunk and you're sitting on this thing. You'd be like, how did I get over here? I didn't get out my chair.
Oh,
So,
our friend Michelle, who's kind of listening in the shadows, she said, she's like, what? I live in Santa Cruz.
oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry, I did not know, but Santa Cruz is a beautiful town.
Yeah, I got to visit it too when I was visiting James's family up in the Bay Area. And
Oh,
then
gotcha.
everybody wanted to take a trip to Santa Cruz. And I agree. I thought it was kind of like a mix of like Pacific Beach meets Mission Beach, kind of meets La Jolla ish. Like if you meshed them all together, that was kind of like the vibe of Santa Cruz. And so it felt very homey, when I was there.
Oh, yeah.
And I liked being able to see all the seals that kind of live underneath the pier, which I thought was pretty awesome. And
Oh,
oh, John says, when I was a little kid in California, I do miss the ocean.
yes, I do admit, when I was there, the ocean itself and the beaches, they're amazing. Like to go to the beach and whatnot. Um, but I was scared to put my feet in the water there because I was thinking it's probably super cold and it was like almost 8, 9 o'clock at night. So we're like, yeah, we're not messing with the water. So it was pretty cool. Apparently, they're having a grad night on their little
Uh-huh.
like um, where all the rides are and everything. Because me and my wife were about to walk through there, and like one of the guys was like, "Oh, you can't enter here." We're super confused because we're like, the lights are on. We don't get it." They're like,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, sorry for the misunderstanding. It's actually grad night for these high school kids." We're like, "Oh, okay, makes sense." So we're just seeing these young people like doing typical high school stuff, but of course with more technology stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of like seeing them. I was kind of having like tiny flashbacks of how interesting and life was for me back in high school too. But that was pretty cool. So we got to see their whole boardwalk and whatnot. Um, so it was fun. We were about to check out the Monterey Bay Aquarium, which isn't too far from Santa Cruz. But we didn't have time and they were closed already, so it's
Aw.
okay.
Oh,
So,
our friend John said my neighborhood was on cops a lot.
oh, gee.
Dude, I wonder, like, cause my brother and I are from Chula Vista in California, and I wonder if Chulawana was ever on Cops. You know, like I'm like imagining like the camera crew showing up. It's like our neighbors, like, oh, bad boys. I always wanted to be the person in the background, like trying to be on camera. Hey, mom,
Me
this is
too.
my neighborhood.
Oh yeah, speaking of, cops and such, I think it was earlier this week. I had to go to this grocery store called Seafood City. So I'm on the
Mhm.
way there, and apparently, all of a sudden, I see this car on the wrong side of the road going the direction, my side is going.
Uh,
And there was like five cops behind him chasing this guy. And I wish I grabbed my phone in time to record it because I kept on thinking, if this airs on cops, I want to have proof I was there. It was a interesting sight to see because this guy was just all over the place. Um, so normally I'm not like that nosy into stuff like that. Like I'll just see it and be like, oh, interesting. But I guess after my light turned green and they just passed like probably seconds after, I I made the I decided just to follow them to see what would happen. So of course, I'm doing a fair distance behind them, and I guess this guy ended up like he hit a speed bump a little too fast, which caused them to swerve off and hit a pole. And then next thing you know, this guy just starts decking it, running, and I'm just like, oh, interesting. I was like, I get to see
okay.
a first taste ever in my life.
Well, with all these experiences and you just having a birthday, let's see. Oh, wait, before I say it, John said, I'm proud. No one can help but look at a train wreck. I know, right? And so, bro, of all the train wrecks you have seen in your life and everything, all your experiences, and now that you are the older person looking at the whippersnappers, um, what advice would you give uh, your younger self or the younger generation? Like, let's say people were 12 years old, 18 years old, 21 years old. Like, what would be your advice?
Um, there's a lot of opportunity out there, more than you expect, and anytime you're trying to reach your goals and it's scared to make that jump, do it because you never know what's gonna happen on the other side until you make that jump. Life is life is an interesting teacher.
Oh, hold on. I don't think I can hear you that well.
Oh, okay,
The
how about
sound
now?
went out or something. Hold on. I'm
Okay.
trying to like mess with the internet here. That's why I'm walking around the apartment. I'm like dancing with you guys, the apartment, my house here. So, okay, hold on. Let me put these back on because yeah, I'm having a hard time hearing you. But hopefully everybody else, can you guys hear okay? Maybe it's just on my end. I am out in the boonies after all, so okay. Brian,
Uh,
go ahead and say something. Let me see if I can hear you.
okay. Um, how about now? Are you able to hear? Um,
Okay.
there we
There we
go.
go. I can hear you.
Okay. So to kind of go back to kind of tell my younger self or the younger generations, is life is always going to be your greatest teacher. Um, and anything you want out of life, remember, you have to discipline yourself more than anything because you can have all these people supporting you, but at the end of the day, it's still you reaching at the end of the finish line for whatever goal you set.
All right. There we go. Get deep with it, bro. Get deep with it. That's what we come here for, man. you know, um, James and I were watching. There's this guy on YouTube, but he's on all these other things. His name's Harry Mack, and he's a rapper, and he's a freestyle rapper. So he usually, you give him some words, he raps. He's really good. Like I think he's probably like one of the best. Anyway, he was in his hometown of Portland, and there's a guy that came up to him and said, "What's your favorite part about being human?" or "What's your favorite thing about being human?" So he did a whole rap about it. But I thought that was an interesting question, especially with all this talk about, extraterrestrials now being like a thing in the mainstream, because apparently, governments have made contact recently with extraterrestrials, and they said that we've been reverse engineering their stuff, which is, probably true for a long time. And our technology is a lot more advanced than, governments would like us to believe. Um,
Right.
but with the whole human thing, knowing that many of us have our soul origins outside this planet anyway, so many of us technically are alien. But, bro, what is your favorite part about being human? What's your favorite thing about being human?
One of my favorite parts is actually just kind of trying to understand, or not fully understand, but kind of more like, with being human, it's interesting, because of, if you think about it, our brain and our heart constantly works on it 24/7 nonstop. And I feel like, we don't give our brain and heart enough credit for that because that's a constant. Even when we're sleeping, those two are still, work doing their job. So that blows my mind. But it's just kind of interesting where nowadays it's kind of like, you know, how I how I always perceive life is you take your own path.
Mm-hmm.
Like, of course, we're always taught be yourself, just do you, and that's it. So of course,
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuck with me. Um, but you know, it's just interesting how the body really is because you got your toenails, your fingernails, and it's these little things that we kind of like overlook. We're just like, it's interesting how our body is, and it's just amazes me, especially like I guess on if you look at our like the small intestine, the large intestine, like that thing is super long. It's like a football field already. Like I'm just like all of that fits into one person. I was like that amazes me. But that and it's just interesting how you know like the foreknown, the opinion, the only thing of God, and like the emotion side, and the mental side of
Oh, your phone is
oh,
breaking up. Oh, there you go.
sorry. I think it's because my pinky accidentally covered the mic, so that was my mistake.
Oh, I was like, where are you going? He's like, "Bloop, bloop, bloop, bloop."
Jack, Jack.
I'll never let go until I let go. She's like, bye.
Yeah, I admit that scene like still upsets me. I'm like, why, Rose? Why?
So yeah, yeah. So she let that human go. So I don't know what she's talking about with humanity, but um, but yeah, I it is amazing. We do have this amazing human vehicle, and like you're saying, we have things that are seem so small or innocuous on us, actually quite intricate, and the fact that not only do we have this wonderful vessel, but we also have like a multi-dimensional spirit. We have access to all of this that's beyond our realm. And I think many of us are working on healing and finding out different ways to heal the human vessel. Not only with physical means, but also energetic means, going back and like healing things. And that's something that's kind of been coming up a lot lately is healing the vessel. And how can we mix the 3D with 4, 5D and beyond, how to put those two together in order to heal.
Cool.
So, accessing that multidimensional self, I've already told my brother beforehand that, you know, I might talk about some intuitive stuff. And so, since you guys know I love to slang the cards, and actually I got a couple of decks for my birthday. Let me show you guys. There were some friends who kindly remembered me for my birthday, and I got the Kawaii Tarot. Oh, there you go. And I got the Tinseltown Tarot.
Ooh.
So, what I was thinking of doing is, as I just look at the time, I don't want to keep my brother too long. He's actually on vacation right now. He's taking a week's long vacation. So, he and his wife are out resting and exploring. So, but what I wanted to do was pull a card with a message to kind of leave everybody with. And if you wanted to, you can put your own thoughts, whether you're connecting to your higher self or to your logic self, just kind of what comes to mind. We can talk about the same card, or I could pull a card for me and pull a card for you. What do you want to do?
Okay. The last one sounds pretty good.
So pull a card for each of us.
Sure, why not?
Okay. All right, so let's see, I'll go first
Okay.
so I can show you. So I'm just doing a little shuffle at the moment.
Okay. So I just gotta um just messaging my wife real quick.
Oh, okay. No worries.
Okay.
Okay, so just shuffling the Kawaii Tarot. So thank you, Kayla. Thank you, Kayla. All right. Let's see. Ooh, we got the Queen of Swords. I love
Oh.
this deck. It's just so freaking cute. Like, I was like opening it. I'm like looking at the cards. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. Okay, so let me dive into this one. Message for all of us. Okay, so the message coming through, it's a very simple message. Just in order to create the things that we want in our lives, whether we call them miracles or whatever we want, we have to be able to have that good balance between our soul self or higher self, or whatever you want to call it, the energetic essence within you, and the vessel that you live in. We know that we are human beings, for the most part, and we know we
Yeah.
live in a 3D world. But balancing that with the energy that makes you your higher self, basically. When you merge those two, that's when you really start to make strides and changes towards the things that you want. And sometimes the things that you want change and other things come along, and we find out, wow, that's way better for me than what I had in mind. And that's just part of the journey, is keeping the open mind, but also open spirit. And so don't forget, keep those things balanced, even when we're doing things where we don't necessarily see it as spiritual, like we're out grocery shopping, instead of mindlessly picking things like, oh, that packaging looks really awesome, or, neon colors, I better pick that. But more picking with not only what the body is craving, but also what the soul is craving. Sometimes they're not in alignment, sometimes they are. But it's always good to check in, and balance them both. Okay, so for my brother. Okay, let's pull a card for you. And then, yeah, like I said, whatever comes to mind, or if you want to try to pull down your intuition, there's no right or wrong, just what comes to mind first. Ooh, we have the Hanged Man, and it's actually an upside down owl.
Oh.
So what are you thinking of?
Huh. Well, that's a good question. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
Well, just kind of looking in the picture, how do you feel about an owl being upside down? Because that's not normal. And then the moon is actually down here instead of above the owl. So it seems like everything is twisted. So what do you might feel about that. It's just kind of thinking about
Yeah,
things, you know.
yeah, I feel like everything's kind of like it's like a mirror of things. I feel or
Hmm.
like it's kind of like mirrored or like reversed, um, in the sense of I guess seeing it as we see things one way, but the other person could see it, a whole different way, the opposite of how you're seeing it, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So that's at least that's uh, how I'm feeling through it so far. So there's,
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that sounds good. I mean, that's good advice, you know, or a good message is that not everybody's going to see things the same way. And I think maybe that's the reason for a lot of conflict in the world. Um, you know, somebody will say, this is the way things ought to be. And it's through their perspective and
yeah,
kind of how they grew up and their culture and the society they grew up in.
yeah,
And trying to force your world onto someone else is maybe not the answer because the other person is not a good or bad person. They just see things differently than you. You know, again, they have a different upbringing, they have a different perspective on life, they have a different belief system. And that's, I think, where we tend to butt heads because we think there should be one type of world for everybody. But that's difficult when you got billions of people living on this planet. Not every person on the planet is going to be able to live under that one rule or one, you know, type of thing. So it's good that we come together and we create things, co-create things, you know, that will help benefit us all. So that's a good message, bro. Good thing to keep in mind.
oh yeah,
Oh, Dana got some things as well from that card. She said, sitting in wisdom and changing perspectives.
ooh,
Um, and John says, "Ooh, you're a little spooky to got this." Yeah. Dana's loving the message. So yeah. I mean, I had like all these other things I wanted to talk to you with everybody, but that just means we might have to do another live chat in the future. I don't
sure.
know.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah, my brother works a lot, and so you know, he was fortunately, you know, he could jump on the live chat today, but that's because he's on vacation. So he's taking a whole week off. The vacation started on his birthday, so he started off right, sleeping with his friend Pikachu, aka his pillow. Until, you see how we brought that full circle? Like, you like that? Oh,
I like it. I like it.
yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, I wanted to talk about some of the alien stuff that's going on. I wanted to talk about just our stuff with like spirit encounters because my brother and I, you know, both have had a contact with many a spirit. um, and you know, I know that he's got a lot of stories and maybe advice, you know, for people out there. So we might have to do this again. We'll have to do, I don't know, a siblings chat part two, you know. um, yeah, if you have time, you know, you're up to it and everything. Oh, Dana said she loves sibling chats, and John says you've got great vibes. I really enjoyed this. Happy birthday!
Thank you, thank you.
But yeah, so I don't know. How would you rate this chat, bro? What do you think?
It was pretty fun. We got to catch up on some things, talk about life, and kind of see how things are going, and which was pretty cool. And it's amazing to me.
Cool, cool. Like I said, I have to call you later because I have your chart. Hold on. I'm going to be emailing you a chart that looks like this, but it's going to be in color. That's what a Mayan astrology chart looks like. So, yeah, you guys, I do my Mayan astrology readings, but I wanted to do one for my brother. So he doesn't know what any of this is yet. I will explain. No worries. I think you'll find it very interesting, especially, yeah, just, oh, I'll save it. um, But yeah, so thank you for coming on. Thank you for everybody who jumped in today. I know that, it's Friday and you guys are probably off, all doing things and everything. So I appreciate everybody who was here and who was commenting and everybody who is going to watch the replay. I like hanging out with friends and family for my live chat. So for me, this is the most fun, being able to hang here with my brother. I know that my brother's got a lot of cool stuff to share with you guys. And I knew you'd like his energy. My brother, of course, my brother's cool. Like, let's see. Dana said, yes, I'm here for it. This was so sweet. Have a wonderful birthday, Brian. Colleen is here. She said, happy birthday to you and happy birthday to me. Today is my birthday.
Oh, happy
Oh,
birthday.
you know what that means? Okay, maybe you don't know what that means. But on my channel, when it's somebody's birthday or it's about to be their birthday, I always have to sing happy birthday. But since
Oh,
you're here, I now have somebody to sing with me.
oh my.
Are you ready?
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay. Her name's Colleen, by the way. Colleen.
Holy. Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday to
birthday to
you.
you.
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear
dear
Colleen.
Colleen.
Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday
to
to
you.
you.
To boop boop be doop. More on channel 2. 7 good vibes to you. Happy birthday, Colleen. I hope you have a great day. Joss says happy birthday to you both. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, then. We will see you guys later. I have my regular Sunday live chat at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time on Sunday. Yes, you notice why I changed between Mountain Standard Time and Pacific Standard Time is because I live in Arizona. And although technically we are Mountain Standard Time, we don't do the whole spring forward, fall behind thing. So technically, the West Coast Pacific Standard Time is on the same time as Arizona. So it's just easier to say PST. Ta-da. So 10 a.m. On Sunday, I will see you guys. Brian, if you want to like pop in and say hello, you can, but you need to go have fun on your vacation. Catch up on your sleep. Go do some fun stuff, So,
Oh, all right then.
all right. Love you guys. I will catch you on Sunday. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.
Bye bye.
And